Good afternoon, students. Welcome back after the weekend. I hope the last 2 days saw you in good health and good mood. We are back with Gray's Elegy, and I have done quite a bit of it. Now I'll be continuing with the same. I had ended at the point where I had explained to you as to why Gray is very particular about why the small, or you can say the not so lucky, or the simple people, the simple villagers should not be made fun of by ambition or grandeur. And we had done in the last lecture that how death is a great leveler. Whether you are rich, whether you are beautiful, whether you are powerful, whether you are poor, all of it is irrelevant when death knocks at your door. And when you die, everything is left behind. You take nothing with you. So, we should not be making fun of the simple lives of the simple people, of the villagers and their simple joys. This is what Gray is trying to tell us. And now he's kind of in the next paragraphs. You can see on your screens you have the portion that I plan to do today, and the word meanings have been written down very clearly. And now Gray in this part is going to tell us as to why we should not make fun or mock these people, because they also had that kind of intelligence, they also had that kind of power, they also had that kind of understanding, which those people who have ruled the world had. So it was not that their faculties were not developed, or that they lacked in intelligence, but it was just opportunity that was lacking. It was opportunity that did not come their way. So that is the reason that they led simple lives. It was because of the social setup, it was because where they were born, it was because of their upbringing, it was because of the kind of exposure they got, that they remained where they were. That is within the limits, within the boundaries of their simple village. I'll quickly read the lines. It is there, they are before on your screen. You please read along with me. But knowledge to their eyes her ample page, rich with the spoils of time, never did unroll. Chill penury repressed their noble rage, and froze the genial current of the soul. Full many a gem of purest ray serene, the dark unfathomed caves of ocean bear. Full many a flower is born to blush unseen, and waste its sweetness on the desert air. Some village Hampden, that with dauntless breast the little tyrant of his fields withstood, some mute inglorious Milton here may rest, some Cromwell guiltless of his country's blood. The applause of listening senates to command, the threats of pain and ruin to despise, to scatter plenty over a smiling land, and read their history in a nation's eyes. Now, uh, um, you can see that Gray is giving the reasons. Specifically, he is listing the reasons in these paragraphs. In the first paragraph, please note that he says very clearly that knowledge. Now, again, knowledge, you can see in between, you will find that certain things have been, personified. Now, here, knowledge is also being personified, and he says that knowledge did not share her ample page. Ample page, knowledge is very wide, knowledge is very expansive. Knowledge is something like, it has been, if you go into the books of history, or you go into books of literature, from time immemorial, so many things have been noted down, so many books have been written. So there is no dearth of knowledge. The knowledge itself is wide, it is vast, and lot of material is available on different subjects. But the poet says that somehow these people, knowledge never was exposed to them. Knowledge never came before them. The ample page, that is reference to all the books, all the knowledge that was contained in those books, that these people never had access to. Then, rich with the spoils of time, did never unroll. So rich with the spoils of time, this is again reference to knowledge which is, it is not something which is attained in one day. We have to look back into time and we'll see that over a long period of time, over many many years of effort, of labor has gone into creating so many books to gather so much knowledge and put it into one place. So on one subject you pick up, you'll have many number of books written by many number of experts, and whatever you want to gain, if you open up the books, you will have, it is there for you to read, it is there for you to understand, and it can be any subject. But somehow these people never had any access to all this vast, all this great knowledge which is there in so many different books. So you can say knowledge did not open herself, knowledge did not open her pages to these people, so they could never access any kind of information, any kind of wisdom that could be gathered from different books. Then he says chill penury. Chill penury, again, now this is chill penury. Why he's using this word? Because poverty always is cold. When you are poor, when you don't have access to enough food, when you don't have access to enough clothes, then obviously you feel cold, you feel hungry. So the main effort of a human being is, first of all, to get enough food to eat, to sustain, to remain alive, and to get enough clothes to cover his body. So when you are poor, these become your major aims and objectives, to be able to feed yourself, your family, and to cover your bodies. So he says chill penury, repress their noble rage. Noble rage is that ardent wish, or you can say fervor to do something. It was crushed, it was repressed, it was subdued. Which was it that subdued all of it? It was that poverty. That poverty did not give them an opportunity to go beyond their simple lives, and whatever energy they had, whatever fervor they had, whatever ardor, whatever effort they had, they put it only into meeting the basic needs of life. So it was crushed because of poverty, their knowledge, their rage, it was crushed because of poverty, and froze the genial current of the soul. Froze means to, you must have seen ice. If water is put into cold, up to after a certain temperature, if it is lowered further, the water converts into ice. So this comparison is being drawn, that whatever rage they had, whatever fervor they had, whatever energies they had, that those energies were frozen because of poverty. And the genial current, genial means happy. This word genial, it means to be happy, to be joyful. So the genial spirit of their soul, the enthusiasm that they had, it was all suppressed, it was all finished because of poverty. Full many a gem of purest ray serene. Now this second paragraph, he is giving example from the sea. We know that the sea, at the bottom of the sea, we have so many beautiful things, there are so many natural resources, but because of the depth, we cannot access them. Because of the depth, we cannot go down that deep in the sea. It would be very expensive to dive right at the bottom of the sea, to go onto the surface of the sea and to look at those natural resources, to look at those natural beauty that is there, which exists inside the sea. It is not possible to access it. So he says there are many gems, there are many beautiful natural things which exist on the surface of the sea, but we cannot access it because it is very deep inside. All that purity, all that calmness exists there. The dark, unfathomed caves of the ocean bear. The dark, unfathomed caves, unfathomed means where you have not been able to go, where you have not been able to reach, something that is very, very, very deep. And it is very difficult for a normal human being, even if we are very good swimmers, even if we have the capacity to stop our breath, to hold our breath for a very long time, but still we will not be able to reach the depth of the ocean. It is that far inside. And he is comparing it to a cave. Just as caves exist in the mountains, on the land, similarly, these depths are being compared to caves. And he says that we do not have access to these caves, and these caves are full of treasures. The ocean is full of treasures which we cannot reach. Full many a flower is born to blush unseen and waste its sweetness on the desert air. The second imagery Gray takes from the desert. Okay, and again he says that the deserts are also very vast. They are hot. There is sand everywhere, and there are many flowers, many beautiful flowers, cactus flowers that exist in the desert area. But again, because the desert is so vast, it is so hot, and it is so far off that it is not easily accessible to human beings. There are many places on this earth where human beings have not reached, or where human beings do not live. Okay, so this is the reference that he is giving here, and he says there also many beautiful flowers grow up, and they have lot of sweet fragrance. But who enjoys that fragrance? Who looks at that beautiful flowers? Nobody, because there are no humans there. The human beings do not live there. So there are many flowers that are born in full bloom. They have beautiful fragrance, and it is very pleasurable. But because there are no human beings there, there is nobody to appreciate their beauty. So what is Gray doing? He is drawing a simile, he is drawing a comparison with these things, and he says that these villagers, these village people, are also something like those treasures that exist in the bottom of the sea, or they are as beautiful and fragrant as those flowers which grow in the depth of the deserts, but where human beings cannot reach, and therefore they do not know that such beauty and such precious things exist in these areas. So these villages are being compared to these things, and the poet says that similarly, the common people, the world, is unaware of the capacities, of the intelligence, of the beauty that these simple village people possess. Then again, he goes on with his examples. He says, some village Hampden. Now, what is Hampden? You can see on your screens, I've written the reference. John Hampden was born in 1594 and he died in 1643. He was the man who refused to pay the ship money which Charles I demanded without the authority of the parliament. So, Charles I was the king, and he demanded this. This is kind of, you have to make certain payments, I would simply say taxes. So when goods are brought from one place to the other, or they are exported or imported, there are certain taxes which are levied, and these excessive taxes that were being demanded by the king, Hampden is that character who refused to pay these taxes. So that was very brave of him to stand up against the king and to say no, that we are not going to pay these unreasonable amount of money as tax. So he says that even in these villages, there must have been some people who would have been as brave as Hampden, and who would have been very fearless. Dauntless breast means somebody who's very fearless, who's जिसको कहते हैं निडर. ठीक है, so there must have been somebody who was very fearless, who had a very brave heart. And what did he do? His bravery was obvious when he stood on his fields to protect his fields from the tyrant of the village. This is now something reference to the Zimidar. All of us know the stories of the zamindars against the village laborers, against the farmers. So it is something like that, that there are some brave young men who stand up, who speak up against the cruelty of the landowners. So he says that there was no dearth of strength, there was no dearth of fearlessness, there was no dearth of bravery, but somehow this was limited only till their fields. not beyond. They did not get any exposure to the outside world. But as far as their village was concerned, as far as their farmland was concerned, there they showed their bravery and they stood up against the tyrants, against the landlords. Some mute inglorious Milton here may rest. Here is reference to the grave. So the poet says that there may have been also some poets amongst these people who are now dead. But just because they were not knowledgeable, just because they were not learned, just because they did not have any knowledge, therefore they did not go out into the world and their beauty or their talent was not exposed. It was, the world was unaware of it. So inglorious means somebody who had a poetic talent like Milton, but who was not, who did not get the right opportunity to be able to express it or to win glory or to win fame out in the open world. So he says such people are also lying here. Then the third example, he says, some Cromwell guiltless of his country's blood. Cromwell was again the king of England who had overthrown the previous ruler, and there had been a very bloodied war. And after that, he had become the king of England. So here he says that similar capacity, similar capability, similar fearlessness, similar, bravery was there in these people also. But just because they did not get an opportunity, they did not become kings. And at the same time, indirectly, Gray is trying to say that these people were better off because they did not get involved in any kind of bloodshed. They did not get involved in any battle. They did not get involved in any war. Hence, they are better off because they are not responsible for any kind of killing, for any kind of murder, for any kind of loss of life. Therefore, maybe these people did not become Cromwell, maybe these people did not become kings, but at the same time, they did not become guilty of any kind of murder either. Right? So they are better off. This is what Gray is trying to convey. Then he says the applause of listening senates to command. Now, this is reference to the parliament. You must have seen now also in our Vidhan Sabha and Lok Sabha, we have our parliamentarians who debate upon different political matters. Okay. And then there are certain people who really speak very well. They are very good debaters. They put forward their arguments in a very proper manner and they are very impressive. So, this is something referring to that. So, he says that there may have been some very intelligent debaters amongst these village people. And if they had got an opportunity to go into the parliament and put forth their arguments, then he feels, the poet says, I'm very sure that they would have also commanded a lot of attention. They would have also got a lot of fame. Applause means जब ताली बजाते हैं, जब अपन we like something, then we appreciate it. So we get fame. So he says that there may have been people who would have become very good debaters, who could have, spellbound the parliament with their arguments. Okay, but they did not get that kind of attention because they did not get the opportunity to reach the parliament, to become senates. They did not get an opportunity to become senators. Then he says the threats of pain and ruin to despise, to scatter plenty over a smiling land and read their history in a nation's eye. So he says that at the same time they did not get any they were not responsible for any ruin. Okay. Also, they were not responsible for any pain. The threats of pain and ruin to despise. Despise means to defy. So these people did not defy, or you can say, did not get any chance to defy pain and ruin of their nation. Like, they did not get a chance to defy any conqueror, to fight any conqueror who would come and give pain or who would ruin their country. They did not get a chance to oppose any such conqueror. And at the same time to scatter plenty over a smiling land. Because if you are powerful, if you have money, then you can do a lot for your nation, you can do a lot for your land. Okay, and you can scatter plenty. This is now referring to the image of a farmer when he throws the seeds on the land, and then what happens? The land is, plowed, the seeds are put, and very soon you have a beautiful crop, जिसको हिंदी में कहते हैं लहलहाता हुआ खेत, वो दिखता है आपकी मेहनत के बाद. तो समथिंग ऑफ दैट काइंड द पोइट इज ट्राइंग टू कन्वे दैट इफ दीज पीपल वर पावरफुल देन दे कुड हैव spread lot of money, or they could have scattered a lot of good, or they could have scattered a lot of resources, and their nation would have been proud of them. The people would have worshipped them. The people would have had plenty. Now, this image he is taking from the farmland, just as when you throw seeds onto a land, a piece of land, it very soon becomes green. It very soon is, blessed with a bountiful crop. Something like that, that imagery he is taking, and he says that these people did not get an opportunity to, fulfill their lands with plenty, fulfill their country with plenty. And he says, and read their history in a nation's eye. So he says that these people did not get an opportunity to read the history of their nation in the eyes of the common man. Eyes of the common man. How do you judge whether a country is happy or not? A very simple way to see whether the common man is happy or not. In politics, what happens? When you are being ruled by a particular set of people, how do you know whether those set of people are working properly or not? Simple answer. If the common man is happy, if the common man is rich, if the common man is educated, then it means that the rulers are doing the right job. But if the common man is not happy, that means that the rulers are not doing their job properly. Right? So, something like that, the poet is trying to explain that these people were capable of bringing great joy, of bringing prosperity to their nation, but they did not get the opportunity to do so. It was not that they lacked any kind of intelligence, it was not that they lacked any kind of bravery, it was not that they lacked any kind of effort, but the only thing was they lacked knowledge and they lacked opportunity. And this is the only reason that they could not do what they could have. Okay, so this is what the poet is now, you can say the tone or the mood of the poet is to justify that the simple lives of the villagers should not be looked down upon. They were capable, they were intelligent, they were brave, but they were limited within the boundaries of their village. Okay, I hope students the meanings of these lines are clear. I'll continue with the same tomorrow and we'll catch up soon. Once again, thank you for your patient listening. Please go through the notes, go through the word meanings, and we'll meet again soon. Bye bye.